I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm printing proxies as we speak. Hey, Nick from 9Card TCG, and today we're going to be looking at some of the newest cards to be revealed from Raging Surf.
Wrong!
Or actually, technically it's Paradox Rift. Our English set is called Paradox Rift, and I'm pretty sure it releases in November, so I have a release date on the screen right now. These proxies, these translations come to us from justinbasil.com, an incredible website. I have a link to it in the video description. Justin Basil is a good friend of the channel, so please, a pillar of the community, as said on Twitter. Before we get into the actual cards that I want to talk about, because some of these are just so good, if you haven't already, do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Tells YouTube this is a good channel. Other people should watch it. I have a personal goal of trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you click subscribe, you can help me achieve that goal. And if we do meet that goal, I have a really cool giveaway happening at the end of the year. So it's, definition of a win-win. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead, go to justinbasil.com and take a look at some of these remarkable cards coming out. So we have talked about some of these in the past. The ones we have talked about, the Mewtwo, Garchomp, Frostyx, we're not going to talk about today. We're only going to focus on the new cards. So if you want to see my thoughts on the already existing ones, or if you see it and you're like, how come you didn't talk about Garchomp? Spoilers, I actually like it. I think it's pretty good, but I already talked about it in a previous video, so you can go ahead and check it out. So we're going to start off with Iron Hands, a very competitive Pokemon in the video game, now getting a really good card here in the TCG. It's a basic Pokemon EX, so it's going to give up 2 prizes, 230 health. It has Arm Spike for double lightning colors, does 160, and then Extreme Amplifier for lightning, triple colorless, 120 damage. However, if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out from damage to this attack, you take an extra prize card. It's weak to fighting and has a 4 retreat cost. And you're like, Nick, that's just shy of hitting like Lugia, because 240 is 120 times 2 for weakness is 240. So you're shy of knocking out Lugia, you're shy of knocking out Palkia, you're shy of knocking out some of the electric weak Pokemon. But we're going to go ahead and skip down a little bit, and we are going to go over to the Future Booster Energy Capsule. The Future Pokemon, which Iron Hands EX is Future, so if you don't know, similar to like battle styles where you have like Single Strike, Rapid Strike, Fusion Strike, now we are getting Ancient and Future based on the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLCs. So now we have some cards that work together with Ancient Pokemon, which I happen to like more, and some cards like this Future Energy Capsule that are going to work with Future. The Future Pokemon, Iron Hands is a Future Pokemon, that this card is attached to has no retreat, and the attacks do 20 extra damage to your opponent's active. So if we go back to Iron Hands over here, now this electric Extreme Amplifier does 140 because of the extra 20 damage from the booster capsule. So 140 times 2 is 280, which means you knock out Lugia, Palkia, I don't know what else is, Pidgeot. All those are lightning weak Pokemon that give up normally 2 prizes, have 280 health, so you hit for the max, like the perfect number. But now Extreme Amplifier says you take an extra prize card. That means you knock out 2 Lugia Vs and you win the game. 2 Pidgeot EXs and you win the game. That's dumb. That's so...
What I'm saying is real, okay?
It's so good. And it has no retreat cost. It has no retreat cost. That means you can throw this in something like Miraidon just as a 1 of or 2, whatever. Electric Generator attach, Dynamotor, whatever, Raihan. And then there you go. This thing gets powered up pretty easily, pretty quickly. So, and then you just retreat, beach court in there, escape rope, or switch card, or whatever. You have so many ways. If you would have a second Iron Hands in the active with the Future Booster Capsule, now you just also have free retreat. It's so dumb. I think this is going to be a very, very good card, and I'm not looking forward to seeing it. It is Fighting Week, which I personally happen to enjoy, but still really annoying. We've talked about, I don't know if we talked about Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon, so we're going to do that. Iron Valiant, another future card. This one was fully revealed because they have the Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon boxes, which is where you're going to get the Future and Ancient Booster Capsule energy cards. So keep that in mind. They might come in the set, I don't know yet, but we've seen collection boxes with these Pokemon EXs and the appropriate booster energy. So something to keep in mind. Tachyon bits or Tachyon bits, I don't know how to say it, I ain't that smart. Once during a turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench to your active spot, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. We just saw a card that gives future Pokemon free retreat. Escape Rope. Switch Cart. Switch Cart works on basic Pokemon. This is a basic Pokemon. Regular Switch. Like, there are so many switching cards in the format right now, plus the booster energy that gives us the free retreat. You could just cycle these through and just put 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage. Okay, attach double colorless Yoga Loop. I'm going to take an extra turn because you put a Manaphy in play. You put a Jirachi that we'll talk about in play, something like that, whatever. You have a Comfey, you have whatever basic little Bidoof that you have in play. I'm going to exploit that. 20 damage, 20 damage, 20 damage Yoga Loop. There you go. You can easily find this with Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, the Fog Crystal. Like, there's so many ways to find basic Psychic Pokemon, especially. It's really stupid. So, and it has a pretty decent attack, 2 Psychic and a Call is 200 damage. You can't attack the next turn, but you know what? We're using this, especially, it doesn't say where the damage has to go in the ability, so we can put this on the active. So if we have something like that, this Iron Hands that has 230 damage, we put an Iron Valiant into the active. Now it has 210 remaining. We put a second Iron Valiant into the active. Now it has 190 remaining, and we can go ahead and use Laser Blade to do 200 damage. And then there you go. Or honestly, we don't even need to. We just need to do it once, because the future booster energy makes our attacks do 20 more damage. That means we hit for 220. So we get this Iron Valiant into the active. We put 2 damage counters on our opponent's active Pokemon. And now we do 20 more damage because of the booster energy. We hit for 220. We're actually doing 240 damage in a single turn. And by the way, we can power this thing up super, super easily in Gardevoir EX, in Lost Zone decks that already play Psychic Energies because of Giratina and Sableye. Oh my god. If you're like, Nick, why are we on Twitter all of a sudden? And why do you look different? It's because this is being recorded the day after I had fully recorded and edited this video, so just kind of sliding this somewhere in the middle. We have 2 new Pokemon tools, and previously, if you remember from a previous video, we have some new TMs, and these TMs are very interesting. They're attacks that you can use, but when you attach them to the Pokemon, at the end of the turn that you attach them, they get discarded. So they're one-time use tools. I mean, you could use them more than once if you have more than 1 copy, but that particular tool, at the end of your turn, if it's attached to a Pokemon, it gets discarded. So that's kind of cool. This one, TM Evolution, the Pokemon that this card is attached to can use the attack on this card. If it's attached to a Pokemon, discard it at the end of your turn. We already talked about that. For a single colorless energy, we have the attack Evolution. It's probably going to be a little different. At least I hope. That's a weird attack name. Choose up to 2 of your benched Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from it, and put it on to evolve it. That means you can run this in a Gardevoir deck and say, okay, I'm going second, no problem. I'm going to get my Ralts into play, and then I'm just going to attach this tool, get a Psychic Energy on it, and now I'm going to use Evolution. I'm going to get 2 Curlias just right then. Now I don't have to worry about it for the next turn, which means on my next turn, I can evolve it into Gardevoir. Gardevoir EX Shining or Gardevoir. I can have a 3rd Ralts that I can rare candy into a Gardevoir, and now I still have 2 Ralts in play. Like, we can do, I mean, you could do that anyway, but now you don't have to have them in the hand. You get them straight from the deck, which is so good for these stage 2 evolution Pokemon. It also works on stage 1 evolutions, right? We want to go from, I don't know, like Riolu to Lucario, something a deck my deck wants to do, the Garchomp Lucario deck that I have built, that wants to get Lucarios into play pretty quickly. So we have something in the active, we can't attack. Well, we might as well do something that we could. It's a little bit of extra consistency, which is really cool. I do really like it. However, by the way, all these translations are from Twilight. Fantastic. Again, another incredible member of the community, so please go follow them like I am. We got a second TM here. We got a second TM, and this one is called De-Evolution. For a single colorless energy, remove one evolution card from each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon to de-evolve them. Put those cards in your opponent's hand. Each.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh my god, you're playing against, I don't know, Arceus V-Star or Charizard EX, and you hit it for 200 damage. And you're like, okay, or let's call it 240 damage just to make it a little, both examples work. You hit a Pokemon for 240 damage, and you're like, I can't knock it out next turn. They're going to knock out my only attacker. I have a Manaphy. I can't knock this out with a Manaphy. Now, you just de-evolve it, attach an energy, and you don't have to attack, you don't have to do damage, because you'll take that evolved Pokemon that has 280, 330 health, and it goes back into your opponent's hand, and now they're left with this 90 HP Charmeleon, or a 60 HP Charmander, or like a 220 Arceus V, whatever. You did 240, that's more than enough to KO something. It is worth noting that if we go from a Charizard EX down to a Charmander, yes, the Charmander will get KO'd, but you're only going to take one prize. Something just to keep in mind. If you would de-evolve my Urshifu VMAX down to the Urshifu V, and now it's KO'd, I'm only getting, you're only going to get 2 prizes because you're knocking out a V. You have not knocked out the VMAX. A little something to consider. Something else that I think is a little interesting and people were asking about in the comments of this post was, how does this work with something like Archeops? Archeops is not evolved. You don't. It's an evolution Pokemon, but you don't evolve Archeops to put it into play with the effect of Summoning Star on Lugia V-Star. I don't think you can use this, and I could be wrong. This is just my guess. So if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But I don't think you can use this on an Archeops or a Pokemon that was like cheesed into play through the effects of something like Summoning Star. I'm pretty sure. We got some fighting. Hoopa EX. It's okay. Energy Crush. Now, if you notice that this has the Terastal effect, or the Terastal attribute, so it can't be damaged by, when it's on the bench, it doesn't take damage. Energy Crush, 2 dark energies, even though it is a fighting type, this is a Terra type shifted Pokemon, or type shifted Terra Pokemon, whatever. So it uses dark energies, but it is a fighting type, which I'm okay with. Energy Crush does 50 damage times the number of energies attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon, which is kind of cool. So you're playing an Arceus and they start putting a bunch of damage. That you're playing a what's it called, a Lugia, and they start putting a bunch of energies all over, powering up that Pokemon with Primal Turbo. Gardevoir starts putting energies all over the place. You can kind of take advantage of that with Energy Crush and do quite a bit of damage. 50 times the number of total energies is pretty good. Scoundrel Fist for 200 damage for 3 dark energies. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Scoundrel Fist. Okay, fine. Whatever. It's okay, right? It's very okay. But then we have Sandy Shocks EX, an ancient Pokemon EX, 220 health, fighting type Pokemon, magnetic absorption once per turn. If your opponent has 4 or fewer prizes remaining, you can use this ability to attach a basic fighting energy from your discard to this Pokemon. That's not terrible, right? That means our opponent knocks something out. We can go ahead, they go down to 2 prizes. For example, they knock out a Pokemon EX. So now they have 4 prizes remaining. So we can use magnetic absorption to attach an energy. Then we can play something like a Raihan to get another energy from the discard onto this Pokemon. Then we search a deck for any card we want, and then we attach for turn. And now all of a sudden we're hitting with Ground Spike for 200 damage. But during this next turn, during our next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So it's like, we do decent damage, 200. I mean, you're missing the mark on a lot of stuff. Most things have 200, 220, 230. And we're not boosting our attack like we are with the future. So it's like, yeah, it's a cool ability. We just don't do enough damage. Like, I'd rather see this do 250 or 260 and be 4 energies. And now it's a little harder to power up, but you have the ability, you have Raihan, you have other ways of getting energies into play, and it rewards you for doing so. I don't feel rewarded doing 200 damage. You are constantly missing the mark on things, and it just doesn't feel good. We got, like, once this Gengar, once during your turn, you can switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. It's not really worth playing. We got a Thievul. Bag Snatch, when you put this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn. Look at your opponent's hand, choose 2 energies, and put them into your opponent shuffles them into their deck. It's just not worth playing. Like, why would you include that in your deck unless you are playing very much a control style deck? Then I could see that being something. But if you're not playing control, it's like absolutely worthless. Roaring Moon is another fully revealed Pokemon EX. We talked about it before. It has the box with the Ancient Booster Capsule Energy, which we'll talk about in a second. 230 HP. Frenzied Gouging for 2 Dark and a Colorless. Knock out your opponent's active Pokemon. Just not whatever it is instantly knocked out. If your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out in this way, this Pokemon does 200 damage to itself. So it's going to be left with 30 damage. Okay. Assuming it's at full health. So it's at 30 damage left, or 30 HP left, and it's going to be very, very easy for anything to come in and KO this thing. The thing is, if we use this in, like, properly, we throw this into a dark type deck, a Darkrai deck or something, and this is like our ace, like this is our trump card. You can't, I mean you could, but let's just pretend there's a big tanky Pokemon that you just can't get through. A big Duraludon VMAX, a big something, a big stage 2 EX Pokemon with 330 health, Tyranitar or something. And you're like, I'm never going to be able to knock this out in a single turn. But I only have 2 prizes left. You use the Frenzy Gouging, you get your final 2 prizes. It doesn't matter if this thing goes down to 30 health, because you win the game right there. We also have Calamity Storm for the same energy requirement anyway. Calamity Storm, 100 damage. If you could discard a Stadium, you do an extra 120. So you're hitting for 220, which is a lot better. As you can see, a lot of basic EXs, a lot of basic Vs have 220 health. So that's not bad. Lumineon has less than that. Squawkabilly has less than that. So we're like, all right, 220 is not bad, right? We'll talk about Jirachi in a second, because we got to talk about Jirachi. What does the Ancient Booster Capsule Energy do? I'm just going to call it Ancient Capsule or Ancient Energy and Future Energy, just to make it a little shorter on my end. The Ancient Pokemon this card is attached to gets 60 extra HP and recovers from all special conditions. It's okay. I don't think it's as good as the Future. I think the Future is way better. Doing 20 more damage to everything. That 20 damage makes a big difference sometimes. How many times have you been 10 damage shy, 20 damage shy? Man, if I did 10 more damage, I could 2-shot this thing instead of 3-shotting it. Or if I did 20 more damage, I could 1-shot it. Like, yeah, you can with Future Pokemon anyway. We do have a couple of items as well, and we have a couple of supporters. But before we get into those, do we have? Oh, yeah, okay, we do. I want to finish out the Pokemon. I want to talk about, well, I guess I'm not finishing out the Pokemon because we still have a couple. Jirachi, Stellar Veil attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon can't put damage counters on your benched Pokemon. It's a little specific, but really attacks. That's not abilities. So it does not stop something like the Iron Valiant EX's ability to put damage counters on things. Doesn't stop that. Has to be attacks. Who has the attack that puts damage counters on things? It's Sableye. This stops Sableye, and that's really all it's meant to do. The question is it worth running? Is it worth the bench space? Is it worth the possibility of starting it or drawing it in a game that's not a Lost Zone deck that utilizes Sableye? That's up to you and how bad your deck loses to Sableye, but you can go ahead, throw this on the bench, and now Sableye can't put damage counters with Lost Mine onto your benched Pokemon. It could still do it to the active, but it's not able to like spread all that damage to take a big 4-prize turn. You can pair this with Manaphy, with Wave Veil, and now Kyogre can't hit the bench. Sableye can't hit the bench. Radiant Greninja can't hit the bench. Like, there are things that we can do, but that's 2 bench spaces that we have to not only get filled, but we have to get them filled kind of quickly, because some of these Lost Zone decks can get turn 2, turn 3, Sableye going pretty easily. After getting Sableye going turn 2, turn 3, that means Mirage Gate is active, which means Radiant Greninja is live. So, just something to consider if you really do need it. It's really cool, and I'm glad they printed something, but it's so specific. Benched Pokemon are protected from attacks of your opponent's basic Pokemon that put damage counters. Like, it's really, really specific, and it's getting a lot of attention on Twitter for good reason. Sableye is an absolute menace. I don't think it's the savior everybody was hoping for, but it's better than that. We have one more Pokemon to talk about, and that is Golden Go EX, 260 health, stage 1. Weak to fire. Okay. Bonus coin, 1 star turn, you may draw a card. If this Pokemon's in the active spot, you can draw 2. If you can cycle your Golden Goes, well, first off, even if you have 3 Golden Go EXs on the bench, let's just pretend, I don't know how often that's going to happen, but it could. You get 3 Golden Go EXs on the bench. Each one of them, you just draw an extra card for free. And if one of them's in the active, now you draw 2 cards plus 1 for each on the bench. And then if you can cycle them each one when they use their ability, you draw 2 cards when they act. Like, that's potentially 6 cards for doing nothing, or maybe playing a switch or 2. 6 cards you just drew for playing 1 or 2 switches. It's pretty damn good. 6 free cards. That's not a supporter. That's not. There's no downside. Like I said, aside from getting the Golden Goes into the active. Really cool. Gold Rush. 50 damage times the number of basic energy cards that you discard from your hand. We have ways of getting energies into the hand. We have energy retrieval, just let you get 2 energies from the discard back into your hand. Superior energy retrieval, discard 2 cards, get 4 energies from your discard back into your hand. Then you have this Earthen Vessel, discard a card, and then you search your deck for 2 basic energies, put them into your hand. That's 3 item cards that get energies. One of them, Earthen Vessel, goes from the deck to the hand, and the others recover them from the discard. And then we can go ahead and, by the way, this Gold Rush is a single energy attack. Single energy attack. So that means we just attach 1 energy. We can constantly, it's so easy to use Gold Rush on multiple Golden Goes. And we talked about all the ways we can get energies from our deck or discard pile. So we get a bunch of energies from the deck somehow, whatever we do, and then we discard them all, and then we have recovery options so that when after we get the energies from the deck and in the discard, we can still use the attack for good damage. Oh my god. We can pair this with Luminous Energy, so that means we can run this in something that doesn't really use metal energies. They use some other energies, but we attach a Luminous Energy to this thing, and now that is, we only need 1 energy. It is every energy, so it covers the metal energy requirement. And then we just discard a bunch of basic energies. I don't know. I think it's pretty damn good. It's pretty good. We do have another future item card, and that is Techno Radar. You can only play this card if you discard another card from your hand. Search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon and put them into your hand. It does not say basic. It does not say Evil. It's just 2 future Pokemon, which, by the way, we want to go ahead and search for 2 future Pokemon like this Iron Valiant, for example, and then put them onto the bench, cycle through the abilities, and put 4-6 damage count. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. He didn't proxy. There's some other future cards. There's a Slitherwing, and an Iron Jugulus, I think, that are out too or coming out. They're just not proxied, so I'm not going to talk about them because they, they're whatever. Moving on to, we have a few new supporters, and I think 3 or 4 of them are pretty good. We're going to start with Mela. You can only play this card if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, so it's very similar to Ryan. Attach a basic fire energy specifically from your discard pile to any one of your Pokemon, and if you do, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. That's pretty good. Really good draw until you have 6. So if you're down to 1 or 2, you play a Mela, energy acceleration, draw 3, 4, 5 cards. It's pretty good. It is a little specific, right? It's going to go into like a Charizard EX deck most likely, or something else that is colorless and can utilize fire energies, something like that. We do have Parasol Lady. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw until you have 4 cards, and draw 4. If you go second and it's your first turn, draw until you have 8 cards, which is, you know, I probably won't play it, but it's something. Here are some cards that I probably would play. Professor Sada's Medal. It's an ancient card, Professor Sada being the ancient. If you played Scarlet, Professor Sada is the Pokemon professor, and she goes back in time. Choose up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, attach a basic energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon, and if you do attach any energies in this way, draw 3 cards. My God. Remember some of these Pokemon that we talked about? Some of these that have decent energy costs, like Roaring Moon, or like this Hoopa, that both, by the way, use dark energies. Or we have the Sandy Shocks. We can just get energies onto these things very easily. So now Sandy Shocks, we can get an energy on it with Professor Sada's Medal. Then we go ahead, use Magnetic Absorption, get another energy, and then, oh, by the way, we'll just attach return, and now this thing's attacking out of nowhere. So that's pretty cool. It does have to be 2 ancient Pokemon. It's probably going to be better with the Dark Roaring Moon and, like Darkrai. Really heavy on discarding the energy, so you can use Dark Patches onto your Dark Bench Pokemon, like the Roaring Moon, and you can use Sada's Medal onto things like the Hoopa, and then attach return, something like that. I think it's a really cool card. Professor Toro's Scenario. Put one of your Pokemon into your hand. Doesn't say future, it just says put one of your Pokemon into your hand, and then discard all attached cards. So it's a better Penny, because Penny says pick up one of your basic Pokemon. Chorus's Experiment says take one of your colorless Pokemon that back into your hand. This is just any Pokemon you want goes from your, and it doesn't have to be damaged. It doesn't have to be damaged. It doesn't have to be future. It doesn't have to be basic. It doesn't have to be evolution. It doesn't have to be, it could be, it's so good. It's so good. Then we got something like Tulip. I don't know why Psychic needs more help, but sure. Put 4 in any or up to 4 in any combination of basic Psychic energies or Psychic Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. I don't know why we think Psychic needs more help between things like the Iron Valiant EX, between how good Gardevoir is, Mew. Like, why? I mean, Mew probably won't place, but why, when Gardevoir is already so good? Why do we need so much Psychic support? Why? We barely get the best fighting energy acceleration right now is Sandy Shocks. That's the best fighting acceleration. And then Psychic gets non-stop love from Pokemon. And fighting gets nothing. We got Earthen Vessel. 2 energies from your discard, or from your deck, and put them into your hand. So then you can Ultra Ball them away, and then use something like Sada's Medal. I need 3 cards to accelerate 2 energies. But Psychic gets everything in the world. It drives me nuts. Extra damage. Gets extra damage. Free retreat for future Pokemon like the Iron Valiant. Now we can go ahead. Cool. We'll just, now we put damage counters on things. Now we're, God, I hate it so much. But yeah, those are, I guess we have Medical Energy. Attach it to a Pokemon. Provides a colorless. When you attach the card from your hand to one of your Pokemon and heal 30. Probably not going to see play. Probably not going to see much play, if any. Those are all the cards I want to talk about. I think those are all, like, the important ones. Like, you have, like, the Gimme Ghoul. This Gimme Ghoul has Call for Family. So, you'll probably end up playing the 50 HP Gimme Ghoul. Maybe you throw in a 70 HP Gimme Ghoul. Like maybe you play... This is tough. If you're going to go Golden Go, do you do the 50 HP Gimme Ghoul and you nest ball for it specifically? But then you have to get it into the active so you can attach an energy call for family. It's going to get KO'd. Or do you go 7? I don't know. That's for you to figure out. Oh, the Xatu. The Xatu is really good. Or Archaic Sense. Once during your turn, attach a basic psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. If you attach an energy display, draw 2 cards. Again, why does Psychic need all this help? I don't know. Apparently, Pokemon decided that Psychic isn't good enough. I can rant about it for hours, so we're just going to wrap this up. So there you go. There's all the cards we know of from Paradox Rift. We're going to get more. There's going to be more cards. We haven't seen a Fluttermane EX, and there's something else we haven't seen. We haven't seen an Iron Thorn EX. We haven't seen an Iron Jugulus EX. We haven't seen a Slitherwing EX. Like, there's a handful of power. We haven't seen Screamtail EX. Like, we've seen like a Screamtail, a single prize Screamtail, but we haven't seen a Screamtail EX. I'm sure if it doesn't come in Paradox Rift, it'll come in a future set, right? There's no way they're not making all of the Paradox Pokemon ancient or future and EXs. It's just gonna happen eventually, right? Probably. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below which of these cards you're most excited for or most worried about. Do any of these destroy or give your current deck a hard time? I want to know from you, so let me know in the comments below. But that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I already told you to like, subscribe, comment, I'm pretty sure. So, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.
I want to give a special shout out to the YouTube members Black Winds, Mike the Highest, Fernando Ortiz, Chin Pokemon, and Eric N. Thank you all so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. And if you want to become a channel member, you can go ahead and click the channel member button somewhere at the bottom of the page. I'm not really sure. I haven't done it myself.